Welcome to the Story of Cooking. I'm Sarah Nicholas. This season we're filming in the heart of the Shenandoah Valley. I'm here at the Natural Bridge in Natural Bridge, Virginia. And now we're in the kitchen. Godfrey, what you got cooking? To the berry knocker. Berry knocker. Welcome to the Story of Cooking. I'm Sarah Nicholas here with Dave Horn, who's going to show me how to do some fly fishing today. Hopefully we'll catch some trout for dinner. Dave, where are we?
We're in Little River in George Washington National Forest.
In Virginia, okay. And we're going to fish here and then we're going to go over to Mossy Creek and fish as well, right?
Yes.
But
yes.
First, I need to know how to fly fish. What do I do? Never done this before.
Well, basically we're casting in deeper areas of the stream and letting our fly just float so it looks like a natural insect.
Okay.
And if you want to go ahead, we got to watch these trees, but if you can get up above you a little bit, and once you cast, just let her float.
So just back, can I just throw it out there?
Yes.
Let this go?
Yes. Yes. Bring your rod back, forward. There you go,
Oh,
very good. Let her drift down, let her drift down.
It's also
Pick
precarious.
her up a little bit, there you go, and recast.
So tell me a little bit more about this area and why it's so good for finding trout.
We are in the headwaters of the Shenandoah River. And this area is under proposal right now to be a designated scenic area. And it'll run from Route 250 to Route 33 in Western Virginia. And it'll be the largest protected area in the eastern United States.
So what kind of trout can you catch in these waters?
Here you're catching the native brook trout.
Brook trout.
Which is
the smaller
native
trout.
To this water. It is a smaller fish than the rainbow and the brown.
I don't think I'm having very much luck.
Well, practice helps with everything, and all
it
you can do
takes a lot of coordination.
Yes.
Especially if you're standing on rocks. Oh, I caught a leaf. That's not good.
Let me take care of the leaf.
Thank you.
It got away.
Uh-oh. Oh, good. So what's the best time of year to go trout fishing here? It's a little cold now, but...
End of March, April, and early May is by far the best time to catch little native trout.
And why is that?
We have insects that are hatching off the bottom, quill gordons and...
Twill gordons?
Quill gordons. It's a little blue fly, pretty nice little fly, and native trout just love them.
So...
And they are on the stream.
Oh, okay. I think you mentioned earlier that you caught your first trout here?
I did.
You did? I got another leaf.
Another leaf.
I'm really good at catching leaves.
Well, that's because we're using a wet fly right now.
So you grew up around here, Dave?
Yes, I did.
So is trout fishing you did for fun on the weekends when you were growing up?
Yes. I love these streams. Every minute I had I was free, I was out fishing.
Oh, good.
In the springtime. Hunting in the fall, fishing in the spring.
Well, it's good if you catch something because then you can eat trout all year long too, right?
That's true, that's true. And now with freezers, you can have fish anytime.
Yeah.
But fresher is always better.
Am I even doing this right?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
How about you do a few? Get the professional
Okay,
involved.
I'll let you hold this rod.
Okay.
And I'll take that one. And we'll
tell
do
us,
a few
Tell
casts.
us some tricks.
Well, all you can do is put the line in the water, and we're going for a dead drift, and hopefully a hungry fish will get hold of it.
So do you have to keep moving as you're fly fishing?
Normally
probably
you
catch
fish
on
a
that you're
hole,
here.
you fish a place for a while and then move to a new place, and generally working upstream all the time.
How many fish have you caught in one day?
I've caught my limit. But then
Oh, what's the limit? You were mentioning that.
Oh, I caught one of those leaf fish. On a stock stream, the limit is 5 or 6. But everything now I catch, I release.
Oh, okay.
catch and release is definitely the way to go now.
So is this a stocked stream?
Upstream of here it is stocked. We're in a basic native area right now.
Gotcha.
So native brook trout's all we're going to catch. Potentially.
So does brook trout taste different than like a rainbow trout or?
I like the native brook trout in that the meat is pink. When you clean it, it's pink looking and a firm flesh. And to me, they are the best eating.
Gotcha. Because in New York, we have the native rainbow trouts, right?
Yes, and I have not been to New York fishing, but I have caught the stock trout here, and the stock trout obviously are raised fish and don't have the same muscling that a native fish does.
Gotcha. So Dave, it doesn't look like we're going to catch anything here, huh?
Well, Sarah, I always have another good spot in my back pocket. Let's head over to Mossy Creek and see what we can do there.
Sounds good. I've heard about Mossy Creek. Let's do it. So thank you, Dave. It was so much fun being out in the water with you today at Mossy Creek. It was a little windy and we didn't catch anything, but we'll come back and hopefully be more successful.
The trout are there. They're just a bit
You promised us
slow
that the trout are there.
We saw them.
Yes, no. We saw one, but then we missed one. So tell me a little bit about the area of Mossy Creek.
Mossy Creek is an old community. Right now it's mostly agricultural and bedroom community, but in the past there were mills for
In
flour
Augusta County, Virginia.
In Augusta County, Virginia. It has always been based along the stream. There were 2 dams along the stream, so there were lakes for recreation and to power the dams. There was actually kind of a resort on Mossy Creek
really?
with the big dock, and the people would ride the train and get off. And
It's like coming to a resort for me because when I live in New York City, I'm like, this is heaven when I come down here. It's so much fun.
So now it's halfway in between Stanton and Harrisonburg, but it is in Augusta County, so Stanton's our county seat. The community has a lot of history through the different wars, as the Civil War came through and the Indians traveled through, so it's kind of just a cool place.
What about the church that we met at this morning?
Mossy Creek Church is one of the oldest churches in Presbyterian churches in Augusta County. It was started, the people in the community who were Presbyterian had traveled to Augusta Stone over on Route 11, and they had some run-ins with Indians going back and forth to worship, so they started their own congregation, and the church was first approved to hold services in 1768.
Yeah, and that's where my granddaddy's buried. I'm from this area, and in fact, the house that we're at now, we're gonna hunt some grouse in a different episode, was owned by my great-grandparents, and my great uncle lived here, and then now you guys own the property, but you guys are like family because I've known you my whole entire life, so it's in good hands now.
Well, it is fun. It's nice to remember all those memories because I played here as a child too.
I know.
It was a special time, and Nanny would chase us out of the house.
Yes, my nanny, who everyone knows by now. Yeah, so my mom and Sharon grew up together. So Dave, tell me a little bit more about trout fishing in Mossy Creek, because it's a famous place to go
Mossy
fishing.
Creek is a special stream in Virginia in that it's a limestone stream, and it has many nutrients in it, good cold water, it supports trout, and there's a lot of insect life that feeds on the vegetation in Mossy Creek, called Mossy Creek because of the moss. But the trout just love the insect life that's there, and they rival growth anywhere. They just grow really well in Mossy Creek.
So is the Mossy Creek stocked with trout?
Yes, once a year, usually in the fall, fingerling brown trout are put in there by the State Game Commission of Virginia. And A lot of them get eaten by the bigger trout that are in there, but a lot of them do survive also. So the numbers of fish in Mossy Creek are rather good.
Gotcha. So do you know about how many fish are in a Mossy Creek at one time, or is that an impossibility to guess?
No, but they do electroshock it once or twice a year, occasionally just for.
They do electroshock?
Yes, and this causes the trout to, paralyzes the trout, and they just kind of wave up to the top, and they take a net, and they do measurements, weight, length, and stuff, and then they'll release the trout. Trout
And
comes
it's
back in.
unharmed?
It's unharmed. And Mossy Creek is fly fishing only, by permit only, in addition to a license. And then.
So today we were okay because I don't have a license. How did I get down there without getting in trouble?
You had landowner permission.
Landowner permission, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, you had landowner permission, and there's special regulations for Mossy Creek, and I'm not exactly sure. But I do know that barbless hooks only, single barbless hooks. And you can only keep a trout over 20 inches.
So who comes here to fish?
People come from all over the world. When my great aunt and great uncle still lived on the farm, fishermen would kind of drive in their lane to get to the creek, and they'd invite them in to visit. And they had people from Australia come in and visit. They had people from South America come in and visit.
Wow.
It's known nationally all the time. If you look at the parking lots for the stream, you see license plates from all over. And it's really fun to meet people. And
yeah, that's cool.
Fly fishermen are
Give
kind
this
of
area some recognition because it's so beautiful.
Yes. And the set aside for the stream to be a special stream was done, started by Trout Unlimited, and then with the game department, Virginia Game Department. So it's a partnership to administer it.
And the brown trout grow to tremendous size, up to
What's
8
the biggest
pounds.
one? 8 pounds? Is that the biggest one that was caught? What's the biggest one you've caught?
Biggest brown trout I've seen are on Mossy Creek. And the biggest one I've seen caught was on Mossy Creek.
And the biggest one you've caught is?
Not the one that I've seen caught, but I've caught fish that were 24 inches long.
Wow. Yeah.
And to me, that's a very nice brown trout.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Considering I didn't catch anything today.
But we tried.
Yes, we tried.
And we will try again.
Okay. Sounds good. So you were saying something about some other stuff that grew on the
One of the other
Mossy Creek?
And one of the other interesting things that was agricultural in the past, there was a commercial asparagus farm
Ooh, yummy.
on the creek. So perfect spring meal, trout, asparagus, and watercress.
I know. So thank you so much, Sharon and Dave. Thank you for taking me out fly fishing. It's been a lot of fun. We didn't catch anything, but you're going to send me home with some stuff, correct?
Yes, I'm going to send you home with some nice trout.
Okay, excellent. Now, headed back to the kitchen to cook up some trout. So now I'm back in the kitchen. I just finished fly fishing with Dave Horn, and we have some locally caught trout from Mossy Creek. And we're gonna make a red chili trout in a cast iron skillet. It's very simple. It looks like I have a lot of ingredients going on here, but trust me, it's super simple. The coating is predominantly cornmeal, and then we're gonna add some chili, red chili. It's chili trout, and some salt. Just mix that together. You can also add your seasonings to the wet coating as well. Either way, the wet coating is going to be buttermilk, because we are in the South after all. I'm going to turn on my cast iron skillet, let that heat up for a second, and I'm going to dredge my trout first in the buttermilk, and I like to leave the skin on because it gets nice and crispy with the butter in the cast iron pan. And Dave has lovingly filleted these and taken the scales off for me, so we don't have to do that. And then put it in the breadcrumb mixture and coat it really well. And we need some butter in our pan. Let that melt until it's nice and hot. You want it to be hot. You want a good crust on your fish because your fish doesn't take very long to cook. So I'm going to sear the outside and make it nice and crispy. Okay.
All right, you want to make sure your pan is very hot because you want the skin to immediately crisp up when it hits the pan. Perfect. So, a whole trout is actually 4 fillets. Somebody must have eaten my other fillet. All right, going into the pan. That sizzle. Last one. And again, they don't take very long. Maybe a minute on each side. And just let them go. And then we're going to make a sauce that will top the fish as soon as they are cooked. Straighten up here a second. This plate over. Let's check it out. It's getting there. A very traditional coating for trout is cornmeal. Also, catfish is served with cornmeal coating as well. All right, there's one. And it should have that orangey color because of the chili powder. There you go. Let that go for another minute. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to toast pine nuts because that's actually going to be the topper to the dish when it's done. And you can do those in the oven. I just prefer to do them in a little skillet and kind of move them around until they're nicely toasted. So get that working. We're pretty close on the trout. Flip these around a little bit. And pine nuts tend to be a little oily, so they will burn. So you have to be careful. There we go. One trout out. You want to make sure that when you're removing the trout from the pan, you want to place it on a warm plate. Otherwise, your whole dish is ruined. Okay, I'm going to move this to the side. Bring these pine nuts back. They're getting there. And I'll talk about the sauce now. Sauce is very simple. It is shallots, 1 shallot, Worcestershire sauce, and oil. That's it. You cook it down. Okay. You can actually probably do that in our cast iron skillet. No need to dirty another pan. And if you get some of the chili trout in there, that's fine. Put your oil in your pan, and we're going to saute a shallot. I kind of like the trout coating in the sauce too, and it kind of helps thicken it as well. Sauteed that for a bit. Let's add a little salt. Just until they soften. It's hard to tell if they're actually coloring too much because they're colored by the trout coating, but they don't take very long because they're finely minced. Then we just add a little Worcestershire sauce. That down. Just let it evaporate in there a little bit. There you go, simple as that. When I come back, we're going to make some smoked trout. So we have everything ready to smoke our trout. This is my favorite way to eat fish. I love smoked fish. I really like smoked anything. We are going to do it on a stovetop. If you have a smoker, you can use a smoker, but I think this is an easy way. And not everybody has a smoker. So I'll show you how to do it right on your stovetop. Very simple. You're going to want to take a roasting pan and 3 sheets of aluminum foil. The first piece of aluminum foil is going to go in the bottom of your roasting pan, like so. And very important, your wood chips you want to soak in water before you start the smoking process. You want them to be completely saturated because the steam from them is actually going to produce that smoky flavor. So you just place those in the bottom. These are Texas mesquite wood chips, but you can use whatever you like. Kind of like that mesquite flavor. And you don't need a lot. You don't need to overcrowd it. Trust me, you're going to get enough of that smoky flavor with just barely coating the bottom. The next thing you're going to do is take another piece of aluminum foil and lay that over the Texas mesquite. Then you're going to take one of these nifty gadgets, which is a steamer insert. You can also just use a rack in the pan, but you want to make sure that doesn't have so many holes where stuff after it smokes can like fall through. Like fish will fall apart once it smokes. So you want it to be kind of solid but still have some aeration. All right, so lay that down, and we have 2 trout, 2 fillets on each trout. And what we did is we took the scales off, and we took the head off and cleaned out the fun stuff on the inside. So you just lay that down on the steamer insert, both of them. And again, cover with aluminum foil, and you want a piece that's a little bigger than your roasting pan, because this is going to actually act as a sealer, just so none of that steam gets out of there. You want that to stay in there the whole time until the fish is done, because that's where you're going to get your smoky flavor. And then you just plop the top on, make sure it's nice and sealed, no air getting out, and you put it on your stovetop. You're going to keep the stove top up pretty high until it starts smoking. This is the only time you're allowed to take a peek. And that usually takes about 10 minutes until it starts smoking. Once it starts smoking really good, you want to turn your burners down a little lower and just let it kind of slowly smoke for about 10 to 15 more minutes, but it also depends on the size of your fish. So I'm going to let that happen, work its magic, and when we get back, I'm going to show you how I like to serve the smoked trout, and we'll taste some of that red chili trout. So my trout has been taken out of the smoker, and I'm going to show you how I like to eat it. I actually love it on a fresh salad, which is a light vinaigrette and some crispy croutons. So to get the chunks out of here, the chunks of meat, you are going to put your fork on the tail, and if it's done, and you don't have a dull knife like I do, you should be able to just run it above the bone, and it should just chunk off. Just like you were filleting a fish. Let's see if it actually worked. It almost worked. I got a little bone in there, but you can kind of see, you can just kind of chunk it off and put it on your salad. You can really smell that smoky mesquite flavor, which is awesome. And another cool thing that I like to do with the salad is top it with a poached egg as well. Really, really good. Smoked trout poached egg salad. Perfect. It's a good brunch dish as well. And for our red chili trout, I'm going to show you how to top that. We have our sauce that we made earlier with all the Worcestershire and the onions and a little bit of chicken stock. Sprinkle that over top, and then we're going to top it with our toasted pine nuts. That nutty flavor that complements the heat of the chili. So now I'm going to taste the big moment. My favorite is the smoked trout, so I'm going to start with that. You can really taste that mesquite coming through. It's delicious. And just a light dressing on the salad, and again, poached egg would just put this over the top. Now our chili trout, a little bit of sauce, some pine nuts. Actually, that is better than I've made it before. That actually might be my new favorite. It is kicking though. It is hot. If you don't like hot, dial back the chili, because it's spicy. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Story of Cooking. I'm Sarah Nicholas. Until next time, keep the story going.